गुड मॉर्निंग एंड वेलकम टू गना शॉट. गना शॉट में आप सबका स्वागत है. Today we're going to go and get an idea of what's happening between Cambodia and Thailand. They're at war with each other. And why are they at war with each other? What are the implications for the region and all that? I mean, that's the natural course. They've been at it for quite some time now, for over a month or so. And but they have had earlier issues. Both Cambodia and Thailand and that entire area was partly under the French colonization at some point of time, and things like that. So what we'll do is we'll take a bird's eye view of what's happening there and what are the issues involved and what's the terrain and what's the culture, so that we get a better understanding. Already I see people saying, "Oh, this is a war between, proxy war between, USA and China." I don't think so. It might turn into one as time goes. At this point of time, it's not so. I don't see any evidence, right? Or I don't see. And so we have to understand the fundamentals of this, before we jump to conclusions and sensationalize the issue. There are already channels who have started talking nonsense, okay, without even knowing what the fundamentals are. And at the end, I'll give you my own experiences of. I've been to Cambodia, so I've not been to Thailand. I've not been to other places. Cambodia, I've been spent a week out there, so I'll give you my views about the whole story. Okay, let's start. Now, why is this fundamentally? What's the dispute about? This dispute is about this temple. This is called Preah Vihear. Just think, it's all corrupted Hindi. The cultural thing of this goes back into time. At a time when India had virtually expanded, and India was a hegemon of those days. They took Hinduism into this area. I'll talk of it a little later. And established Hinduism there. The the folklore, history, whatever goes, says that all this was taken by the Cholas, okay, to that area. But the names are Hindi. That's the thing. And you find a lot of Buddhist influence also out there. A lot of things, which we need to understand. A lot of things which those people themselves have not gone into in detail. There are a lot of missing links in this historical context in this area. But let's pick it up from what we know and what concerns us. So this is about Preah Vihear. Preah is what you like or love, and Vihar is Vihar, a place. So this temple is about Preah Vihear. This is a Shaivite temple. Okay, this is a Shaivite temple. Right. Now let's get to this. This is, the entrance to the temple. This typical architecture of the Khmers. That's the Khmers are the people who live in that area. Siamese and the Khmers. It's in this area. Where is this temple? This temple is absolutely on the border between Thailand and Cambodia. And it's a UNESCO heritage temple. Right? It's a UNESCO heritage temple. And it's a border. That's it. And there's a history to this, why it's in the border, why it's in Cambodia, not in Thailand. That's the crux of the history, problem at this point of time. Okay, now let's get back. Where are these places? They're here. They're here in this area. This is Cambodia, this is Thailand, and this is Cambodia. Okay, India. Just to give you a context, in the same parallel as Chennai, you see, this comes to Sri Lanka, Cambodia. Southern part of Cambodia is somewhere in the parallel of Sri Lanka. That is Tutukudi, Dhanushkodi, that area. And Thailand, northern is comes to about Deccan. For the weather, vegetation, everything is something akin to what we have here. Actually, it's very sultry weather. You need a lot of water. If you go out, you just sweat. That's how it is. Now, a little background about what Thailand is and what Cambodia is and what this complete region is. Right? You have to understand that to understand further things. See, this region used to be called Indochina. Why Indochina? Because this is India, this is China. So this used to be called Indochina. Area between India and China. It was known as the Indochina Peninsula for a long time. I used to hear about Indochina well into the century. Now, what are the countries here? Thailand, Cambodia, Vietnam, Laos, and then of course there is China. Now, if you go back into history, Thailand is a very kind of a country which has never been in the ebbs and flows of commerce. Commerce has never gone through. People came to this, from the Malacca Strait, went that side, and probably they went to Vietnam, Cambodia, and all, but they never ventured into Thailand. And this side, Myanmar shielded Thailand. As a result, Thailand was never colonized. It was always a kingdom which remained a kingdom. It used to be called Siam once upon a time. And the kingdom of Siam flourished despite colonization. That's the important thing. The second thing is the areas which were colonized were Laos, Vietnam, Cambodia. They were colonized by the French. The French, these were all French colonies. After all, Vietnam, when they struggled, they got freedom from France for their independence. That's the second thing. The third thing which you find, which is in this area, which one has to understand, is communism. Communism spread into this area through China. Vietnam readily accepted it because then it became part of their independence struggle. Laos also accepted it partially. Cambodia took root very deeply. Then Cambodia was ruled by a dictator called Pol Pot, who took communism to another extreme. And there were massacres. And Cambodia has a very gory history of people being killed left, right, and center. He was Mao squared. Whatever Mao did, he did it in double that. And if you go to Cambodia, you'll see monuments about all those torture chambers and concentration camps, and you speak to people. You speak to people in the villages and all, they'll tell you, the old people tell you. Gory, right? But we'll not go into the past. So Cambodia has had a very tough past. Again, it was a French colony. If you go there, there are places where French is still spoken. And there are French quarters there. Certain of their streets and restaurants and all have a French flavor. And you go to Thailand. Thailand is very much a tourist place. I mean, so is Cambodia. They have some fantastic heritage sites, both these countries. And they're completely, largely tourist dependent. And then their economies are dominated by China. Cambodia, of course, is completely dominated under the Chinese thumb. Thailand is a twin. I wouldn't say twin, it's got two shades. For economic point of view, it is very closely linked to China. From a security point of view, it is linked to USA. But interestingly, Though it is linked to USA from a security point of view, of late, in the past 10 years, it has been buying a lot of weapons from China. So China has deep interest in both states. So when people say, oh, this is a proxy between China and USA, they don't understand. Let me tell you, there's no understanding. This is not my understanding. This is not, a sensible chap's understanding. The whole story is cultural in nature, and we'll come to it why. Okay, now the Thai, Cambodia border is approximately 500 miles or 800 kilometers long from here to here. Okay, it is a mix of mountains and plains. This area is all plains. These areas are all mountains. These are called the Dangrek Mountains, and we'll come to it. The Dangrek Mountains are something which gives a natural border between uh, Thailand and Cambodia. The thing is, this Dangrek Mountains actually form a natural watershed. It's a natural watershed. And this border was delineated by the French. With all their colonies of the French. And the French said, this is your border, this is your border, and they went away. Now they're fighting over it. The, the border is based on watershed, it accepted by both, but for certain monuments. This monument, I will come to this monument. This monument is this Preah Vihear. This monument, which is on a mountain top. Okay, if you go by the watershed principle, it falls in Thailand. But the French gave it to Cambodia. If the French felt this entire area uh, had cultural connect with the rest of Cambodia. And they said this entire story, this Preah Vihear, is part of the Angkor Wat and that dynasty from old. This should be part of Cambodia, and they gave it to Cambodia. For a long time, Taiwan accepted it. Then they went to the International Court of Justice. Yeah, we'll talk of it. Okay, right. Right. See, this is the thing. The Dangrek Mountains are a point of contention between Thailand and Cambodia. Why? Basically because of this Preah Vihear temple. This Hindu temple is dedicated to Lord Shiva. It's on the cliff which I showed you. Right. Now, both nations claim that temple. Because it's tourism, economy. The temple generates economy. There's no cultural connect, nothing of that kind. There's no religious feeling. All these temples are dead temples. There's no deity out there, and no one prays out there. Okay. People who come will light some agarbattis and incense sticks. That's it. There's no prayer out there. And they went to the International Court of Justice. They went in 62, they went many times. And the appeals, all that. Every time that International Court of Justice has given the thing to Cambodia. But the Thailand doesn't agree. So there's a dispute. Now, this is not the first time they fought. This is not the first time they fought. They fought earlier. They fought in 2008, they fought in 2011, they fought in 60s. Ever. Okay. It's not only here. See, it's not only in this area, but also in the seas. They have a problem. That's what I've written here. I mean, I'll read it out for those who are interested. Deadly military clashes between the two neighbors took place as recently as 2011. So 14 years back, they've had a fight. Nothing happened. Okay, and it's all centered around this Preah Vihear temple. And there are other 2-3 temples, Tamuan and Takrabe. Okay. All these temples are culturally and historically significant landmarks for both countries. Right. Cambodia has unresolved disputes otherwise with Thailand. Basically, it's an area of which in the Gulf of Thailand. Okay. Now, before I go to the Gulf of Thailand, let me talk of Dangrek Mountains. Dangrek Mountains start somewhere here. This is Laos. This is Thailand. Sorry. This is Laos. This is Thailand, and this is Cambodia. If you see this, yeah, this is Thailand. Sorry, this is Laos. This is Thailand, and this is Cambodia. We'll go to that. Now, from here to here, the Dangrek Mountains is about 300 kilometers east-west. Then the border swings south, and it's low areas and plains. Now, as far as where this fighting is taking place in the Dangrek Mountains, the slope from Thailand, right, is gentle, and there are escarpments on Cambodian side. It gives a very clear watershed. That's what one could make out and what I remember going. Now, the thing is, this Preah Vihear is on this watershed, and this watershed, or the other side of that watershed, should have been in Thailand, the way I look at it. But then, who knows? Okay. Now, they have overlapping claims here also in the Gulf of Thailand. This is called the Gulf of Thailand. It used to be called the Gulf of Siam once upon a time. So what is it? You see this border, it comes now. Someone claims the border like this, based on that UNCLOS thing about your own EEZ and territorial sea and things like that. Those are lines anyway. So Cambodia claims it like this. Thailand claims it like this. So there's an overlapping claim in the Gulf of Thailand also. All this will come to the forth now. Okay. When did this whole story start? Okay. Before I go to the story and the current thing, let's have a overview of what these militaries are and what are the capabilities. Yeah, I'll expand this. See, this is the fundamentals. If you see the orange one, right, is the Cambodian military strength. The blue is Thailand and red is Vietnam. In this area, Vietnam is the biggest military. So militarily, Vietnam is the biggest. Cambodia is the smallest and Thailand is next. Okay. Okay. So in terms of personal strength and in other everything, tanks, artillery, aircraft and all that. In fact, Cambodia has no aircraft. Period. There are very few tanks. Everything. I mean, it's a small army. Why is this Cambodia a small army? You have to understand. Because Cambodia has gone through years of civil war. Decades of civil war. When Pol Pot was there were rebels, but Pol Pot was cruel, so he carried out a mass program killing people. And then when the things were very bad, Vietnam intervened. And they sent their army and undid the Pol Pot regime. Pol Pot went towards Thailand. Finally, Pol Pot died near this temple, Preah Vihear temple. Okay, he died in his old age. He was unseated. After he was unseated, there was a to and fro civil war going on. Then at some point of time, a lot of countries came together and negotiated a peace settlement out there. And when we went, this was in 2008-9, and after that they still fought. The rebels were incorporated into the army. So when you went to any battalion and when you went to any army unit, you were introduced to about 20 brigadiers. All were brigadiers. Now, we slowly came to know that all these brigadiers were all rebels, basically. Everyone was given the of a brigadier, and he used to come and shake hands with us. They knew nothing about English, nothing about tactics, nothing about everything. All they knew was rebel fighting, and they wouldn't talk. I mean, they couldn't talk. They couldn't communicate. As simple as that. So you will find these blue lines, which are Cambodian lines, are bigger. Sorry, Thailand lines are bigger. Orange is the Cambodian army, which is smaller. But they fight. They fight because they know that when it comes to ground, they can fight. because they've been fighting for a long time. On the other hand, Thailand has not fought, incidentally, but Thailand is better equipped. So Cambodia on one side is Vietnam, which is the m- best equipped in this region, and the other side is Thailand, which is very well equipped. And Cambodia has not got any equipment. Its economy is reviving. It's completely a Chinese puppet. Everything is China oriented, but the guys know how to fight because they have been fighting ever since. So it's not going to be someone who says, "Oh, they'll run over." Yeah, it will not happen. Uh, we'll come to the fighting. And then you see the defense budgets. You see the defense differentials in defense budgets. See Cambodia's defense budgets, which is in blue. Oh, sorry, orange. See Thailand's defense budgets and Vietnamese defense budgets. You will find the Thai defense budgets are high because they buy American weapons. They used to buy a lot of American weapons. Now that they're buying Chinese weapons, their budgets have gone down. So everything, and Vietnam has been self-sufficient largely. Vietnam is a smart nation. They've been getting arms from Russia. They've converted it to Vietnamese, and then um, they took some Chinese weapons during the uh, Vietnam. I mean, before the Vietnam War, or but against when I say Vietnam War with the USA, they fought with the Chinese weapons, and then they fought the Chinese with the Chinese and Russian weapons, and now they got their own thing. They get it from all thing, even from India, and they want weapons at no cost. So they are a smart people. I mean, you must grant it to them. But they're a strong nation. Militarily, I think this is the strongest nation here. And Thailand is, well equipped. It's got fighters. They have a balance. See, this is it. You see the difference in Cambodian. This is the source of Cambodian military. Bulk of the equipment in Cambodian army today is China. So they have what China gives them. And you know, for China, Cambodia, Vietnam, and Laos are very important. Laos and Cambodia are very important because a lot of their offshoring and all goes into Cambodia. Okay, we'll come to the Chinese interest a little while later. We'll first talk of what's actually happening there. Okay, so we get back to Preah Vihear. Right. Now, if you look at this gives a nice timeline of what's been happening there. If you have a look, this whole thing started in February. And where did it start? It started at this called the Emerald Junction. Right? The tri-junction between Laos, Cambodia, and Thailand is called the Emerald Junction. It started here around, this is Preah Vihear. Preah Vihear is here. Okay. Now there are other places where these temples, Tamon Tak and Tamuyon Tom. So even here there have been problems, and this has been going on for long. Okay, around May there was one Cambodian soldier who was killed here, and then for some time the thing stopped. Now it has flared up again. Now, of course, people have Thailand has declared an emergency. I'll come to that. Yeah. Now you see there are 6 disputed areas, and these are the places where there's contact happening. Cambodia has used the F-16s. So not I keep saying Cambodia. Thailand has used F-16s. Cambodia has fired grads and all that. A couple of Thai people have been killed because they said Cambodians have mined the area. So it's going on. Now Thailand has declared an emergency, and especially in the border districts, there is evacuation of civilians which is happening, and it is going up. So this is happening. But at this point of time, it's still a low intensity war. It's not a all-out conflict. They fired at each other. They've used Air Force, they've used grads, they've used artillery, and they've used small arms. But it is not a full-fledged combat the way we think it is. Okay. And there's a lot of accusation against each other. So that's how it is at this point of time. Uh, China is very worried. But China has started playing a game. It started playing Western, colonial powers. When you say Western colonial powers, it is blaming France. No, the point is, France delineated this area the way it was and gave it to them. And after that, these chaps have been fighting with each other. They've gone to the court. They've gone to ICJ. They've had fights earlier. Yeah, it's resurfaced, right? And China is straight away. For China, this is not a good thing. China has taken a mediation role. China wants to quell this earliest. Why? Any destabilization of the Indo-China Peninsula and the whole story, right? Yeah. Any destabilization of the Indo-China Peninsula. I call it the Indo-China Peninsula. I'm calling it though the term is not used these days. Destabilizes China to a large extent. It affects China most. China doesn't want this war. And why? China has a naval base here. It has developed a naval base here at Ream. This is their port, their major port, Cambodian port. Vietnam will give them nothing. So they came and established a port here. And that port has got a lot of facilities, dockyards, piers to accommodate. They say future Cambodian warship, but it's for China. Command and control centers, radar facilities, all that, air defense systems, medical facilities, all this China has constructed. They say again it's under some loan shown, but I don't think so. Eventually, it is China who wants to establish a proper base here. Why will a base help it? It will help it to control complete South China Sea. And yeah, a base here, a base here helps this control everything here, not from China. China also was in talks with Thailand to cut a canal called the Kra Canal through the Kra Isthmus. This is called the Kra Isthmus. They wanted to cut a canal so that they can, bypass this Malacca Strait, or they'll have an alternate to the Malacca Strait through the Kra Canal, so they can go like this and like this. But Thailand didn't agree. They said no canal. They said you can have a transshipment, and that transshipment will be operated by us. You come here, have a land bridge, offload it other side of in South China Sea, offload everything, take it by road across, right? And you can transship it back into sea other side. Both the ports will be ours. We'll earn the revenue. So, and China couldn't make headway. This Kra Canal is virtually ruled out now. No one talks of it anymore. A lot of talk at that point of time whether China will come and then it solves the Malacca dilemma and all that, but that's on a different day. Nothing happened. Thailand is smart. Like I said, Thailand has this capability of evading all colonial powers. It never got colonized by the French or the Brits or the Americans later on, or the Chinese. They play everyone's game. They're very smart at it. So, but China has its interests here. China can't afford, so China has been dealing with Cambodia and Thailand to suit its interests, major interests. And any war here will create problems. Okay? Will create problems. So the next question is, we'll get back to this. The next question is, will this go further? Yeah, some amount of escalation will take place. But my own guess is that people will rush in, and China especially will rush into both people and tamp things down. The second thing is they don't have that kind of sustenance, to carry on this war for a long time. It might degenerate into a kind of a, infantry kind of operations, low level operations will continue. But no one has the capacity to go into the other nation deep and do things. And nor are their political situation in a mess. The dispute is only about 3 or 4 temples in that area, which is flared up. Will it go down? I think my guess is it should go down. If it doesn't go down, it is then that these bigger powers have come into the game. Is this a way to get China into the game and get it committed by USA? We'll see. We'll see how it happens. But at this point of time, there's no indication. People talk. But what are the larger implications? Please understand. The larger implication are ASEAN is in a problem. Out of all the countries in ASEAN, Philippines and China are having an issue. China is not part of ASEAN, that we know that. But 3 central countries, Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, are in problems in ASEAN. Of course, are there? 4 now, 4 totally. Myanmar, Thailand, Cambodia, and Philippines are in problems. Others, Indonesia, there. Vietnam, after all, 10 countries there. How can they control this? Will ASEAN be able to sort this out? Singapore and Malaysia and all these ASEAN countries, will they be able to sort this out? Is a question, a huge question mark. Right? So all these are issues which we'll see as we unfold. Today was just a primer. From what I could make out, this battle or this firing and all and the air strike took place yesterday or day before. After that, there's not much happened. Okay? But not much happened so far. That's how it is. Now I'll take you into Angkor Wat. Now, let's go back to one of the maps. Yeah, let's go to back this map. Yeah. Now, Siem Reap is the site of Angkor Wat. If you understand Angkor Wat, you'll understand Preah Vihear and all these. They are all extensions of each other. And it was here, Siem Reap or Angkor Wat was the center of the Khmer, rule at some point of time. Okay. It was center of that Hindu kingdom which existed then. It is a Hindu kingdom. And they had temples all around. So what you see here, this is the center of that ancient Hindu kingdom which was here. Then the Buddhists also came. The Buddhist influence is also seen here. And this is seen in Thailand and also in, further in Vietnam. It is also seen in Laos. It is also seen in Indonesia. I mean, just to give you an idea, in Indonesia, they had the prime minister called Megawati Sukarno Putri. It's completely Hindu. Her name is Hindu, but she was not Hindu. That's a different story. So you will find this lot of their names based on Hinduism. Right? That Hindu tinge is there, that cultural tinge is there. It's a different story that we have not been able to capitalize on it. But they have a connect. Oh, that connect gives you some leeway, which I'll talk of. Yeah, this is Angkor Wat. This is the seat. This is the biggest Hindu temple in the world. Just think, the biggest Hindu temple in the world is not in India. It's in Angkor Wat. It's in Cambodia. You go there, it looks small. This is taken from a large distance. And this is of 2008 when I went there. In fact, this is from my camera. It's a huge temple. I'll explain it to you. See, this is the entrance to the Angkor Wat as you go in. And, very funny. You'll find sculptures like this all over. You find Ramayana and other scriptures there. People talk of Ramayana and Mahabharata there locally. They talk. And the scriptures on the walls are like any scriptures which you see on the walls of any Hindu temple anywhere in India. Largely, if you go in the north, it is Sanskritized, uh, what shall I say, writings which you see on the wall. You go down south, you'll see different I won't say dialect, different script. My own sense is if you go to a temple like Tirupati, you see Tamil script. Largely Tamil type of script. It's not Telugu. Tirupati, incidentally, is fundamentally a Tamilian temple, Tamil oriented temple culturally. So you find the scriptures on the script on the walls is largely Tamil or Tamil type. It's not exactly Tamil, it's exactly a Tamil type. And interestingly, you find similar script on Angkor Wat. And you find Ramayana and Mahabharata, the edicts are all Ramayana and Mahabharata in Angkor. Okay. One interesting thing which I found, and this is why I'm showing this particular picture to all of you, is this. I found, this is one of the Angkor Wat temples. You look at the stairs. You look at the stairs. Every temple there, every deity or every room in which the deity is or supposed to have been there, there's a very steep climb. You see this climb? It is very steep. And when you try to walk up, it's not possible. You have to strain to walk up. You have to put huge steps. Normally, a step is 8-9 inches. Here, you're 1.5 feet steps, 2 feet steps. So, virtually, you have to, I found it difficult to go up some of these slopes, and I'm 6 feet tall. And what it leads you to believe, why did these people make big steps? And this is not just in Angkor Wat. In all the temples in that area, it's like that. And a whole lot of temples in that area. There were cities in that area. It's all gone now. And where the people or the human beings of that time, giants, okay. Uh, and the another funny factor is the steps are huge, the entrances are small. There's no logic. No one could explain this to me. You can make out in this picture. See, the entrance is small, the steps are huge. Okay. And there, India has the connect to India is this. We are at that time, we were carrying out conservation and restoration of one of those temples. It's called the Taprom Temple. And I'll just give you a few pictures. Can you imagine roots have gone through the temple and broken the temple? That old it is, and that huge roots. Very difficult to go through the temple also. But there we found Indian conservationists who are, reconstructing the temple where required. There are a lot of places the bricks, the stones have fallen and all that. So these people are doing everything, restoring that site. Right. And you find some exquisite architecture. Look at this. Look at this temple with faces. I mean, it's way out. It's way out. You see, look at this. When you get out of one of the doorways, this is what you see. See the serenity of that sculpture. Or here, see the smile. See how it is made. See that smile in this. That same thing. This is it. This one. Right? When you come out from one of the side doors, this is what you see. Okay. So you find that the culture, everything is largely Hinduism. And then another funny thing which you see is in Angkor Wat, you see a touch of Buddhism, not in the outlying areas. So, and there's a lot of connect between what, in their names, in their way of life, everything. Weather is the same. And I don't know how, but I think there was a very flourishing kingdom out there. Locals also agree to it. But that kingdom went off, and that is a Hindu kingdom. Where does Hinduism go by? Logically, it should have gone from the northeast, but it didn't go from the northeast. It went from the seas. Logically, it should have been Tamil or Telugu or one of the southern languages which should have ruled, been lingua franca of that area. But the lingua franca it suggests is Hindi. So it gives you the feeling that, look, was there more integration in India at that point of time than we really think? So a lot of questions, a lot of unanswered questions about our own heritage in India goes there. So this is a side, but this is where this whole story is. And this fight between Cambodia and Thailand is now between over a Hindu temple. Interesting, isn't it? Do we have a role to play? We might, but I don't think we have that kind of political, what shall I say, clout in Cambodia or in Thailand. Thailand we might have, not in Cambodia, but China has. So China will rule the roost. Will US interject? Possible. Is US doing all this to pull China in? Again, possible. Let's see how it unfolds. At this point of time, I can't really make a guess. Today, I just thought I'll put the fundamentals into play, and we'll see. We'll take a reassessment as things unfold. Right? That's what I thought, and I'll take questions to all from you. This is not a thing about a clear war. It is more about understanding what's going on there. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. Good morning and Jai Hind. Yeah, I told you who provokes them. I told you it's not any big power. MK Sundaram, good morning. So Yatagiri also, good morning. Hans, good morning. Lofi, good morning. Rohan, good morning. Mrs. Claire's, good morning. Right? Let's take. Yeah, thanks a lot, Saurabh, for joining in, and Sunil Kumar also. Good morning. Right. Karthik says, oh, Kargil War. Today is Kargil War anniversary. I mean, Kargil Vijay Divas Day. Evening, I'll put out a couple of videos which I did. I did an interesting video with Sandeep Unithan on, and not exactly Sandeep Unithan, with his team, on what would it be if we had fought the Kargil battle today, 25 years hence. One. Second, I've written an article to compare Op Sindoor and you know, Op Vijay. What is the difference between the two? What are the similarities between the two? All that. Maybe Monday, Tuesday, we'll take that up. Right? We'll understand Op Vijay, because you'll get fed with a lot of Op Vijay, what happened. A lot of channels will give you a lot of things. And after that, I'll talk of the comparison between Op Sindoor and Op Vijay. I've already put it out in my blog. If you go to Gunner Shot, that is my blog, and Op Vijay, Op Sindoor, you'll get a comparative essay. And I put it out on my social media links also. Okay. Yeah. Neil, Jai Hind. Jai Hind also to you. Right. Suprabhat, Praval, good morning. I was reading a tweet today where it was mentioned how Southeast Asia was heavily influenced by India, even though it is in China's backyard. They all followed. Yeah. That's what I explained. Look, China never. You see, that's the next thing. The Chinese influence, or the Chinese cultural influence, never came down south. The Hindu influence has gone there. Chinese were never expansionist. They were hegemonistic for many reasons. And one of the main reasons is the hands couldn't come down. The Hams were more interested in the north. Kargil Vijay Divas par हमारा सब वीरों को याद. Thank you. Thanks a lot, Vijay. And Sylvia also, good morning. Thanks a lot. Yeah, Pratyush, good morning. Desi Stand, Jai Bharat, good morning. Both countries have refused mediation by both US. Yeah, that's it. That they'll not. They know what they're doing. I'm sure within a few days they'll settle. If it doesn't settle, they'll fight. It's okay, right? But why I did this was because we need we shouldn't get fall prey to things that China is everywhere or US is everywhere. So far, it's not a proxy war. Yeah. Good morning, Ramki. The effort of Chola kings in spreading Sanatana as seen. Yeah, I completely agree with you. But it will not be a savior for Indochina. Remember this. No one there is interested in that religious aspect of Sanatana and all that. Don't get into that mistaken impression. All people are interested in is all these are UNESCO heritage sites. They make money out of it, huge money. I mean, let me put it. Cambodia has two international airports. Okay, one is Phnom Penh, which is the capital. The other is Siem Reap. So a lot of people, if you tomorrow you want to go to Angkor Wat, you don't have to go to Phnom Penh. You go straight land in Siem Reap. There- That's like any other place in the West. A lot of five-star hotels, AO, all that. And you can go and stay and go and you have Angkor Wat tours for 3 4 days. You can go to this Preah Vihear also and all and come back and go. I've driven from on road by from Phnom Penh to Angkor Wat. That is same Reap. It takes about 8 hours by road, and there's only one road in that whole place from there right up to Preah Vihear. Why is it? There's only one major road. It is only major road in Cambodia because that's where the tourists go. As simple as that. And most tourists don't go from Phnom Penh to Siem Reap. They land in Siem Reap, look around that area, and get out. Okay. Yeah. Sorry. A lot of comments. Yeah. 1 minute. Can't China leverage its numerous dams which has built? Yeah. China has already weaponized Mekong. China has built a lot of dams on Mekong, and Mekong goes through Laos, Vietnam, Thailand, and Cambodia. All four countries are suffering thanks to China. And a lot of Chinese. Why Cambodia they're interested in? Cambodia is very fertile area and a lot of water in Cambodia. Water comes from this Dangrek side and Mekong. So that area is full of rice. They grow a whole lot of rice. They export rice, and one of the biggest importers of Cambodian rice is China. Yeah, I think this is not about the temple and tourism, more about China. I'm sorry, I don't agree with you. Our kings, laborers, and all were expansionists in terms of our culture. I agree. Okay. Yeah. Should one take up a job offer in Bangkok at this point of time? Is it safe to move? Yeah, there's no problem. In fact, you see the where this fighting is taking. Firstly, it's low level of fighting, and secondly, these places are far away from Bangkok and Pattaya and all that. In this war, if I may put it, Cambodia will suffer more because Cambodia, which depends on tourist inflow into Angkor Wat and Preah Vihear and all that, will lose it if there's a war on the border. Thailand's tourist places are far away. They'll not because Thailand is more, uh, you know, luxury tourism or happiness kind. People just go there and to spend time. That kind of tourism is in Thailand. So there, only few people come to these areas. The temple tourism in Thailand is not much. It's more relaxing kind, resorts and things like that. So Cambodia stands to lose more. So eventually they'll come to an understanding. I expect in the next 1 week they should, but we don't know. Thailand is interested in BrahMos as per new report. Is this? Yeah, why not? We'll have to see. Why do they want? Yeah, they might not like it, might need it. In the Gulf of Thailand, lest China becomes adventurous and China does gunboat diplomacy. Let me go back to this so that you understand why. Yeah, you see, this is Gulf of Thailand. Thailand wants BrahMos because if tomorrow China forces them to part with this Kra isthmus, then it has defense. And that's the thing, right? So, not a bad idea to give them BrahMos. Yeah, sorry. We'll keep this. Right. Not Buddha, but their king Ashoka was. He killed Jains. Yeah, that's fine. You will find many interviews by William on YouTube from which you'll get a gist of the book. Yeah. Hmm. Thai and Cambodia should stop this nonsense and get back to normal living. I agree with you. And this border dispute is a fallout of the colonial times, just like what it is between India and Pakistan. No difference. Yeah. Yogesh says, yeah, thanks a lot, Yogesh. Namaskar to all viewers and listeners. Please like the button, click the like button, subscribe to the channel, and turn on all notifications. Same here to everyone. So, yeah, let's see. None of the dharmic religions proselytized using military means like Islam and Christianity. Even under Ashoka, it was, yeah, we were generally peaceful. Okay. Cambodia is like we had a lot of combat operations experience. I told you this. Cambodia has been fighting. Okay. So, but then I don't think this will go to that level. Reports on Twitter that Cambodia brought down an F-16. I don't think so. They don't have AD, to the best of my knowledge. Uh, China cannot control this conflict, cannot allow this conflict to become uncontrollable. I said so. Lingayan, this won't work. Where is India? Since India is the largest Hindu nation in this temple dispute, we don't have influence here. Let's be very frank. Cambodia, we don't have much influence. Yeah, lot of comments, lot of comments, lot of comments. Yeah, yeah. So your thoughts on China instigating this war because Thailand is not agreeing to build a canal? No, no, no. All this they could have done long back. They could have instigated this war, if the way you're looking at it, much earlier if they wanted, but it didn't happen, right? Oh, for the past 4 years, this Kra Canal thing is going on. This has happened in the past 2 months. There's no instigation. Look, any destabilization or instability in this peninsula, the one which will get affected most is China. Remember that. India is a superpower. It should not be ashamed to mediate. I agree with you. Indian embassy in Thailand has advised citizens to avoid. Yeah, that's fine. That's a normal thing. Yeah, thanks a lot for your Vijay Divas greetings, Gitanjali. And evening, I'll release that video on my views on Kargil. I'm surprised Laos is quite. They don't have a stand on this actually. Laos is a reticent kind of a state. It is completely a Chinese puppet. Yeah, greetings, General Shankar. Great presentation. I bet the triangles and quadrilaterals you used to in your IOR video could have been employed quite a. Yeah, it'll start, but you know, those triangles and quadrilaterals come in Indian Ocean. There they don't have. There's nothing of that kind which you can really think of. Hmm. This is a Chinese conspiracy to place troops in Cambodia. No, I don't. No one wants to place troops there. Incidentally, that's all something else which I've seen. Hmm. The kings who were built were Surya Varma and Jaya Varma. Yeah, I agree with you. They were called Varmas, Mahendra Varma, Surya Varma, Raj. Right, there's a whole dynasty. If you go to the museum in Phnom Penh, they give you that entire dynasty. But my question mark is how authentic it is. I didn't find it that authentic. The truly intriguing question is what is the real issue? Border temple or border? No, it's border and temple both. The book Ocean of the Churn breaks many propaganda about Ashoka that is taught in our school books. It depends on who's written that. All these books also, unless you read five, six books on it and get different perspectives on an issue, it's not balanced. Hmm. Okay, a lot of discussion. Right. Despite such rich and obvious Indian Hindu cultural influence in Thailand, Cambodia, Indonesia, why couldn't we convert or leverage this into an axis of sphere of influence? Please, yeah, let me answer it. It's very simple. Very simple. Complete Indo-China was under the French colonial rule. India was under the British colonial rule. The French and the British fought here, and we kicked them out. So they went there. Okay, the French and the Portuguese went that side. After independence, we followed the British thinking, they followed the French thinking. And we never went more into Thailand and all those places. And these are all troubled areas. When we gained their independence, they were still under colonies. They were still colonial. And then up to the 50s, there was fighting going on there. So, and we were building our nation. So our strategic thinking has been a lot been conditioned by the Western thinking. When I say Western thinking, the British thinking, the British American way of thinking. That's the strategic thinking we've had. It's only off late we're talking of act east and look east. So that we didn't. Yeah, Murugesan says good morning. Thanks a lot. What are the difference between Lord Buddha and Gautam? Same. Gautam Buddha is the original. Thereafter, people who are enlightened, they call Buddhas, as per Buddhism, as per certain sects of Buddhism. So Gautam Buddha is, from Kapilvastu and Siddharth. Is that was his original name, isn't it? He is that lineage. Thereafter, any person who's enlightened, who's of high intellect, and who's recognized in Buddhism is called a Buddha, and that's how it is. Okay. Great Cholas went to Malaysia, Indonesia, while Burman dynasty lived in Cambodia and Laos and some part of, yeah, I go with you. All these happened. See, unfortunately, we've not studied our own culture and history and used it. Okay. Modi and Starmer meet video. We'll talk of it later. Right. Hmm. Dwapar Yug, 22,000 years, long lifespan, 200 years, height only 7 feet tall, maybe. We don't know. I mean, these are things which came to my mind there. I thought I'll. Uh, yeah, thanks for opening my nave eyes. I thought these chaps actually cared about the temple or what it meant. Turns out it's the money that drives them. How come Cambodia has no air force? Because they were in civil war throughout, and it's a poor country. They have nothing except these. They can't afford. If you go out of the main cities and see how people live, it's actually quite. They're very poor. Let me put it this way. Yeah, it seems young Thai PM now sacked address Cambodian president as uncle. See, again, they have very good equations. I didn't get into all that. The ruling family in Thailand and the ruling family in Cambodia are good friends, incidentally. And many of their own militaries are quite uncontrollable also. So, yeah. Any new one? Could this be a trap by China? No, it's not. Uh, could you please do a session on the new bunker bursting missile of India today evening? Join in today evening, 7 o'clock. Is there any possibility of US involvement into this to each? This will happen. If this doesn't go down in the next 2 3 days, everyone will get involved in this. So I think I now know why Westerners react the way they do to our disputes with respect to Pak and China. Since it's so far away and doesn't affect them and close, those countries are lesser in. Yeah, they are happy that we keep fighting. Yeah, could it be because Tamil Nadu, Andhra Pradesh was one and changed it? Possible, highly possible. Let me see. Any other question? There are a lot of comments, lot of comments. How do Thailand and Cambodia's claims to the temple reflect their? It doesn't reflect on their cultural heritage at all. They're only making money. I found that the people there are not really connected to that heritage. That Hinduism and all is gone. They don't even believe in it anymore. A certain amount of Buddhism is there. In fact, they're largely Buddhists. Okay, right. I think that's all today. Thanks a lot for attending. Join in the evening. We're going to talk about India, Pakistan, bunker bursting missiles, nuclear, everything with General Saigal. 7 o'clock in the evening. Right? That's going to be interesting. So till then, have a great day and Jai Hind to all of you.